Hi class, today's lesson is applications of Pythagoras. Pythagoras' theorem can be applied to many practical situations and is often used by tradespeople. These are the steps to solve application style questions. The first thing we need to do is draw a diagram. So this is to represent the situation. Sometimes the question will already give us the diagram, but often we'll have to draw it ourselves. Next, label the sides. So A, B and C, you should know which one the hypotenuse is by now. And use Pythagoras' theorem to find the missing side. So if we're trying to find the hypotenuse, we use this formula. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. But if we're trying to find one of the short sides, we use the formula A squared equals C squared minus B squared. Let's do an example. A ladder 5.3 metres long is placed 1.4 metres from the base of a wall. How far up the wall does the ladder reach? Okay, so we've got to draw the diagram ourselves. It's a ladder leaning against a wall. So a ladder leaning against a wall. And we're told that the ladder is 5.3 metres long and that it's placed 1.4 metres from the base of the wall. So from the base means like along the bottom, along the ground. So this is 1.4 metres. How far up the wall does the ladder reach? So this is like what we're trying to find out. How far up the wall the ladder reaches. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would label the triangle. So I'm going to label the hypotenuse and the side that which we know is the longest side and opposite the right angle. So if there was a right angle, it would be here. So that makes this the hypotenuse, which I label with the letter C. And so in this case, I'm not trying to find the hypotenuse. I'm trying to find one of the shorter sides. So when finding the short side, I use this formula. A squared equals C squared minus B squared. And remember, I always label the unknown with the letter A. So this is like A and the other side B. Now I can substitute these into the formula. So A is X. C is 5.3. And B is 1.4. And then I put into my calculator 5.3 squared. Oops, I'll put that in now. 5.3 squared minus 1.4 squared, which equals 26.13. And the last step, I square root the solution, which equals 5.1. So that is how far up the wall the ladder reaches. Okay, another example. A 4-metre tree casts a 3-metre shadow. What is the distance from the top of the tree to the end of the shadow? Alrighty, so we've got a tree. There we go. And it's casting a shadow along the ground here. And we're told that the tree is 4 metres tall. And the shadow is 3 metres long. What is the distance from the top of the tree to the end of the shadow? So the top of the tree to the end of the shadow. So we're trying to find out what this distance here is. Okay, so if I'm going to label the triangle, the longest side opposite the right angle is my hypotenuse, which is this one here. I label C. And the other two sides, A and B. So in this case, I'm trying to find the hypotenuse. So I use the formula C squared equals a squared plus b squared. Substituting the values, so we don't know what c is. A is 4, b is 3. Put that in the calculator and that equals 25. The last step is I square root the answer, and that gives me x equals 5. So the distance from the top of the tree to the end of the shadow is 5 meters. Diagonal means a straight line joining two opposite corners of a rectangle. So any question that asks you to find the diagonal, this is like what they're asking you to find. Okay, let's have a go at this example. Nancy has an 8 metre by 15 metre rectangular garden. What's the length of the diagonal path that crosses her garden? Okay, so she's got a rectangular garden and it's 8 metres by 15 metres. What is the length of the diagonal that crosses her garden? So this is like the diagonal here, and this is what we're trying to find out. So what I would do is I'll draw it as a separate triangle so we don't get confused. So this is like our triangle here. 8 meters, x that we're trying to find, and 15 meters. Okay, then we can label the triangle. So we've got the hypotenuse, which is C, this one here, and the other two are A and B. So we use our formula C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Substitute in the values, so C is x, A is 15, and B is 8. Put that in the calculator, which equals 289. And the last step, we need to square root the answer. So x equals 17. So her path across the garden is 17 meters. Last example. Find the length of a diagonal steel brace required to support a wall of length 3.5 meters and height 2.6 meters. Okay, so think of a wall like this. The length is 3.5 meters. The height is 2.6 meters. And we're trying to find the diagonal steel brace. So that's like our x. So my triangle, this part here, I'm just going to redraw out. So we've got 2.6, 3.5 and x. Label it. So x is the hypotenuse, a and b. So I'm using the same formula, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Substituting the values, so c is x, a is 2.6, b is 3.5, which that equals 2.6 squared plus 3.5 squared, 19.01. And the last step, I square root this answer, which equals 4.36. So that's the length of the steel brace. Can you please complete the applications of Pythagoras worksheet?